See one sum on material variance in full detail. Okay, so they have given us the standard mix to produce 1 unit of a product is as follows. So to produce 1 unit of a product, that product which they are producing, the final product, to produce that they are incurring these standard costs to produce 1 unit. Okay, to produce 1 unit, these are the cost incurred. So material X 50 units at rupees 10 per unit will give you 500. Y 90 at rupees 20 is 1800. Z 100 units at 27 per unit, so you have 2700 rupees. Right, so the total number of units used is 240 to produce 1 unit of the final product, whereas the total cost incurred will be 5000 to produce 1 unit of the product. That is a standard cost details, right? So they say during the month of April 10 units were actually produced, so and consumption was as follows. So they say 10 units were actually produced. To produce 1 unit you require these many costs. To produce 10 units it is into 10, right? Now during the month of April, these are the actual costs which were actually incurred. So material X is 550 units at 12.5 per unit is required. Material Y 960 units at 18 per unit. Material Z 880 units at 29.50 per unit is incurred. So the total units used will be 2390 units. This is the actual units used, and this is the actual cost which they have incurred, right? So let us start with the problem. They have asked us to calculate all the material variances. Okay, so we have in the previous video we have seen certain material variances, right? Like material cost, material price variance, and material usage variance. So and material other material variance also we have seen. So here also we'll see that. Apart from that, we'll also see one more extra material variance, that is material yield variance. Okay, so now here when we start the solution, we should first have this kind of a table. We make this so that it will be easy for us to understand, right? So the standard for 10 units, they have given us the standards for 1 unit here. So we have to convert it to 10 units. So what we do is, they have told us 50 units for 1 unit. So for 10 units it will be 50 into 10. So it is 500 units, right? Rate will remain same, so we take as 10 only. When we multiply these two, we get 5000, right? So next we have material Y 90 for 1 unit. So for 10 units it will be 900, right? 900. Rate will be 20, which is given to us, so we directly record it as 20. When we multiply this, we get 18,000, right? 900 into 20. Do it in the calculator so that you will be perfect with the answers. So 18,000. Next we have 100 units for 1. So for 10 it will be 100 into 10. So that is nothing but 1000 at rate 27, which is given to us as standard rates. When we multiply, we get 27,000. So now the units column has to be total, and we get 2400. The amounts column total, we get 50,000. See, this is the standard cost for 10 units. So we have a standard cost ready now. All the standard cost details we have: standard rates, standard units used, and the standard costs. Now let us move on to actual cost for 10 units. It is directly given to us, right? So we directly record it. So 550, 960, 880, and the rates will be 12.50, 18.00, 29.50, which will give you 6875. It is directly given to us in the question, so we can directly copy it down. And the totals are this. So these are the actual units used. This is the actual cost incurred. Now let us see the formula. So our formula, the first thing is we need to find the material cost variance, right? Material cost variance. So our material cost variance formula is nothing but your standard cost minus actual cost, right? So when we see what was a standard cost which we had to incur and what is the actual cost which we have incurred, the difference between these two will be your material cost variance. We have seen in the previous video as well. So here our standard cost is nothing but the number of standard units into standard rate. We have these. So the total of these will be our standard cost. So 50,000 is our standard cost minus what is our actual cost? 50,115 rupees. So our actual cost is 50,150. The difference between these two is our material cost variance. So what is the difference? Yeah, minus 115. So when it is in negative, we record it as adverse because it is not favorable to us. Is it favorable? No, it is an adverse effect. So our standard, we were expecting it to be 50,000, whereas now the actual we have incurred is 50,115. There is a 115 extra cost incurred. So that is our adverse effect. So 115 adverse we record, right? So now we move up to a question. The next thing we have to see is material price variance. So let us see the formula for that. So now material price variance. What's the formula for material price variance? Here we remember the word price. So when we remember the word price, we know that the difference will be between the prices itself. So the formula is standard price minus actual price into actual quantity. So when we see this question, our standard prices are given to us 10, 20, 27, and our actual prices are 2.25, 18 and 29.50, right? So the difference between these two will be seen and it will be multiplied with the actual quantity accordingly. So what we do is first we have to see for material X. So material X, it is equals to, what is the standard price given to us? 10. So record 10 minus our actual cost is 12.50. What is our actual quantity? The actual quantity is 550 units used, right? So record that 550 units. So now 10 minus 12.5, is it negative? Yes, definitely it is negative. So when we do that, we get a negative value into 550. When we do this, we arrive at 1,375. It will be in negative. So when it is negative, it is nothing but adverse, right? So this is for material X. So let us not write it here so that when it will be easy to total. So 1,000 adverse. Next we have material Y. It is same thing again, 20 minus 18 into 960. So 20 minus 18, it is positive because 20 is greater than 18, into 960. So the answer is 1920. Check with the calculator, right? It is favorable because it is a positive value. Next we have material Z. So for material Z, it is 27 minus 29.5 into 880 units, right? So 27 minus 29.50 into 880, which will give you 2200. Definitely it is negative, so it is adverse. Now to find out the total material price variance, we have to add all these. One is favorable, two is adverse. So adverse to be minus from your favorable. If it is negative, then we write it as adverse. If it is positive, we write it as favorable. So when we do the calculation, the minus 1375 plus 1920 minus 2200, we get 1655 adverse. It's a negative value. So this will be our total material price variance. Right. So the next thing that we have to see now is material usage variance. So the material usage variance formula is standard quantity minus actual quantity into standard price. Okay. So here for material X, let us see first. So what is the standard quantity? That's what we have to see first, right? Standard quantity is 500 units. Okay. Actual quantity is 550 units. So 500 minus 550 into rate. Standard price is 10. So that is our first step. So 500 minus 550 into 10, which will give you, it is negative, right? So 500 adverse. For material Y, same again, check for your standard quantity, check for your actual quantity and the standard price. So 900 minus 960 into next, material Z. So for material Z, it is 1000 standard, 880 actual, and standard price is 27. So 1000 minus 880 into 27 per unit will give you 3240 favorable, because 1000 minus 880 will give you a positive number, into 27 will be again positive, so it is favorable. Do the calculation again. So minus 500 minus 1200 plus 3240 will give you 1540 favorable. So this is your material usage variance. So there's one more trick here to verify whether the answers are right or not. So what is that? Is verification. not sure on this, but still I've seen in many places that this is used. So first thing is your material cost variance is equals to material price variance plus material usage variance. So here your material cost variance, you know, right? How much is it? It is 115 adverse, right? So let us see whether this formula will apply. So what is our material price variance given to us? It is 11655, that is 1655 adverse. So record that 1655 plus, so this is an adverse, so it will be A, that means negative, plus 1450 favorable. It is nothing but your material usage variance, which will give you 1655 negative plus 1540 positive will definitely give you. Use your calculator, do it and see, you will get 115 negative, which is nothing but your adverse. So here this is equals to your material cost variance, right? So therefore this is satisfied, and hence the problem which we have solved is right. Now let us move on to our next formula, that is material mix variance. So material mix variance, we know that it is a type of a usage variance itself. The formula for this is revised standard quantity minus actual quantity into standard price. So to remember this, it's very easy. The thing is, it is a part of usage variance itself, material usage variance itself. So just check the formula, standard quantity minus actual quantity into standard price. This is what is usage variance. Usage means quantity. So here standard quantity minus actual quantity into standard price. Similar formula only is used for material mix variance as well. Actual quantity remains as it is, standard price remains as it is. The only thing which changes is revised standard quantity. Instead of direct standard quantity, we check for revised standard quantity, right? So now this means that there's some particular formula for revised standard quantity, right? So revised standard quantity is equals to standard quantity of 1 unit of material divided by total of standard quantity of material into total of actual quantity of material. So when we do this, we arrive at our revised standard quantity. From this revised standard quantity, we have to minus actual quantity, then we have to multiply it with standard price to arrive at material mix variance. So now let us see for material X, what is our revised standard quantity? This is standard quantity of 1 unit, right? The first thing that we have to consider it. So first what we have to see is, what is the standard quantity for X? 500 divided by 2400, that is nothing but your total standard quantity into actual quantity. total actual quantity, which is 2390. So when we do this, we arrive at 500 divided by 2400 into 2390. When we do this, we arrive at 497.92, rounded off figure. So this is how we arrive at material X. So now the first one is how we have seen. So material Y, this is how the answer, and material Z, this is the answer. So I've done it fast so that to save time, right? So now that we have the revised standard quantity for all the things, let us see the material mix variances straight away, right? So the formula says revise. So for material X, we'll see X. So the formula says that revised standard quantity. So revised standard quantity here is 497.92. So 497.92 minus, we have our, what we have to see is actual quantity. So actual quantity is 550 into our standard price, that is 10, which will give us 520.8. So that is adverse. And then material Y, the same thing shall be done. Material Z, same thing shall be done. When you calculate, you will understand. MMV, that is nothing but your material mix variance. The total shall be seen, that is 1331.61 is favorable. Okay, so that is done. Material mix variance is completed now. So next we have to see is material yield variance. Right. So for material yield variance, the formula is actual yield minus standard yield into standard output. Output price. This is very much important. So here actual yield, standard yield and standard output price is to be seen. So this is a very important formula and not been discussed in the previous video. All the other formulas were discussed in the previous video. We just saw the calculation here, but here this formula is very much new. So standard output price, first we have to calculate. So standard output price is equals to total standard cost divided by standard units. Which will give us, see in this question, total standard cost is 50,000, right? And the standard units is 10 units, which is given to us now. So 50,000 divided by 10 will give us 5,000. So this is our standard output price. Next, we have to see the standard yield. How to calculate the standard yield? So they have told us the standard quantity, the units also is 10. We have assumed it, right? But now let us actually find out what if this was the costs, then what would have been the standard yield. So standard yield is equals to actual usage of material divided by standard usage per unit of output. Okay, so now in this question we have to see what is our actual usage of material. Actual usage of material is 2390. Standard usage was 2440, but actual usage is 2390, that is 2390. So we take that 2390 divided by standard usage per unit of output. So per unit, remember this, very much important. To produce 1 unit, what is the cost? That is 240. Right, so this is to be considered as standard usage per unit of output. So 240, which will give us 9.9583333, so on. Don't round it off, it is very much important. Keep it as it is. So at least keep till many threes, on 2 threes at least. Okay, now this is our material yield variance formula. Now everything we have standard yield, we have standard output price, and actual yield is nothing but how much is actually yield? 10 units. So that is our actual yield. So the formula goes like this: the actual yield, that is 10 minus 9.9583333 into 5000, which will give us, so 10 is greater than 9.9583333, so that value into 5000 will give us 208.3335. right, so here it is positive, so it is favorable. For this also we have a verification. What is this verification? Our material usage variance is equals to material mix variance plus material yield variance. Here our material mix variance is 1331.61 plus, now we have 208.3335 as our material yield variance. Both are favorable, so both are positive. So when we add these two, we get 1539.9435. When you do it in the calculator, you will get this value. So when we round this off, we get 1540,540. So isn't it equal to your material usage variance? Our material usage variance was 1540, and when we add these two, we still get 1540. If it was a rounded off figure, perfect figures, then we would have actually got 1540 itself. But here there are some decimal values, that recurring decimal values, therefore we are getting this 0.9435. okay, so here this completes all the material variances. Right, thank you. Subscribe for more videos.